Let's jump right into a massive turning point in the epic Mahabharata. In this explainer, we're tracking two profound endings that basically ignite monumental new beginnings. It's really a tale of two vastly different, yet completely intertwined journeys. On one side, you have a hero finally stepping out of the shadows to embrace this huge universal destiny, and on the other, a completely unexpected, quiet death deep in a forest that inadvertently sets the stage for the most devastating political conflict of the ancient world. The wheel of time is turning, and literally nothing will ever be the same.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. Krishna liberates Mathura. 2. Yashoda's bittersweet farewell. 3. The tragedy of King Pandu. And 4. The Pandavas arrive in Hastinapur. Let's get into it.
Part 1. Krishna liberates Mathura. The hero claims his destiny.
You know, the sheer speed of the power shift in Mathura is just staggering. We are looking at a monumental transition crammed into literally just 3 days. Day 1, the tyrant Kansa is killed, but Krishna doesn't even pause to celebrate. He heads straight down into the damp dungeons to free his biological parents, Devaki and Vasudev, along with the deposed king Ugrasen. Then, Day 2. Ugrasen actually refuses the crown at first. He's carrying this massive burden of shame over his son's reign, but Krishna insists he take it to restore order. And by Day 3, instead of basking in the glory of his conquest and, ruling the kingdom he just liberated, Krishna is already packing up to leave for his formal education with sage Sandipani. It's this whirlwind of decisive, fiercely selfless action that tells us exactly who this hero really is.
Now this is absolutely crucial. Krishna's profound humility here is a striking contrast to traditional conquerors of the era. King Ugrasen argues that a warrior shouldn't accept the crown as charity, basically saying Krishna himself should rule Mathura by right of conquest. But Krishna, he completely rejects the whole shebang. He states with absolute clarity that he didn't win Mathura to become a king. He did it simply to serve his motherland and restore cosmic justice. I mean, think about it. He's just conquered an entire kingdom, totally shifting the geopolitical landscape overnight, and yet his crown remains a simple, humble peacock feather.
Part 2. Yashoda's bittersweet farewell, the mother of the universe. But see, while there's this grand political triumph in Mathura, it triggers a deeply emotional, profoundly quiet transition back in the pastoral village of Nandgan. We're faced with a truly heartbreaking contrast here. The biological mother who suffered in the dark versus the foster mother who actually raised the world's protector. On one side, Devaki spent half her life chained up in a dungeon, desperately waiting for her prophesied son to free her. But on the other side, there's Yashoda. She taught him how to walk, she fed him butter, she scolded him, and she loved him through every single day of his childhood. So while the grand city of Mathura is out there rejoicing, Yashoda is left frantically searching her empty home for a son who is never, ever coming back to play.
And Yashoda's heartbreak is framed not as some cruel abandonment, but as this heavy cosmic necessity. Her friend gently reminds her that right now, in this pivotal moment, she cannot afford to be selfish. The boy she raised is simply too grand, too important to be contained within the borders of a single village. He's got to belong to the entire universe now. She didn't just raise a charming kid, she raised the protector of the world. And honestly, that's a legacy far greater and far heavier than simply giving birth. It's the ultimate sacrifice of a mother's love for the greater good of the cosmos.
So, while Krishna leaves his idyllic childhood behind and heads off to prepare for his grand universal role, a sudden, devastating tragedy is unfolding elsewhere, whose journey abruptly ends in the silence of the forest.
Part 3. The Tragedy of King Pandu, a Fatal Embrace.
Right before tragedy strikes, it's fascinating to watch the young Pandava brothers learning these profound philosophical truths from their guru. They're reciting ancient verses acknowledging the Lord of the universe, just completely immersed in childhood innocence and spiritual learning. They're safe, protected by their powerful father, and miles away from the toxic politics of the capital. They are utterly unaware that their peaceful, idyllic forest existence is about to be violently shattered in a matter of moments. Because a sudden, fatal chain of events gets triggered by just a single moment of human frailty. King Pandu, even though he fully knows the risks, gives in to his overwhelming desire for his second wife, Madri. And the very moment they embrace, a lingering, terrible curse is enacted, and Pandu dies instantly. The fallout from this is immediate and catastrophic. Madri is consumed by terrible guilt, feeling entirely responsible for her husband's death, so she refuses to live and joins him on the funeral pyre. In the blink of an eye, Kunti is widowed. That protective bubble bursts completely, leaving her all alone in the untamed wilderness to somehow protect and raise 5 fatherless princes.
Part 4. The Pandavas arrive in Hastinapur.
A kingdom divided.
Forced out of the safety of the forest, Kunti really has no choice but to bring her son straight to the political epicenter. She's carrying this immense, heavy emotional burden, caught right between the ashes of her past and a highly uncertain, fiercely dangerous royal court. Imagine stepping through the grand gates of Hastinapur, carrying that kind of sorrow, walking headfirst into a future filled with cutthroat political maneuvering and deception. Her innocent, forest-raised kids are entirely unprepared for the venomous atmosphere of their ancestral home. And the danger they face, it is absolutely immediate. Duryodhana's chilling reaction here really sets the stage for the rest of the epic, exposing his deep, highly territorial jealousy over his newly arrived cousins. I mean, even as his grieving aunt and young cousins arrive seeking basic shelter and family support, his very first instinct is overwhelming hostility. He explicitly refuses to pay respect to Yudhisthira, his eldest cousin and a direct rival to the throne. Duryodhana draws a permanent, hostile line in the sand on day one, making it crystal clear that survival in this palace is going to be a daily battle.
So now, we see a grieving royal family struggling with immense generational loss, which completely alters the delicate political dynamic of Hastinapur. King Dhritarashtra weeps openly on the throne, claiming he's lost the very strength of his arms with his brother's passing, though, let's be real, his tears mask his own deep political insecurities. Then you have the Queen Mother, who is completely inconsolable, having now mourned a husband, a son, and a grandson in her lifetime. And into this incredibly heavy, unstable atmosphere walks Kunti. She's visibly empty-handed in terms of worldly wealth or armies, yet she's bearing what the court instantly recognizes as 5 jewels, the incredibly capable Pandava brothers.
Now, this profound philosophical quote serves as a powerful reminder to the grieving kingdom. Despite the heavy loss, the legacy of Pandu lives on through these newly arrived boys. The physical body might have perished in the forest, but the essence, the rightful future of the lineage, it's standing right there in the grand halls of Hastinapur. It's presented as a spiritual truth, sure, but make no mistake, this is a massive political statement. It tells the ruling faction that Pandu's claim to the throne absolutely did not die in the forest. It literally walked right through the front doors.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to deeply ponder this looming threat. With the Pandavas now squarely in Duryodhana's hostile territory, completely surrounded by political enemies, and Krishna miles away preparing for his grand universal role, how long can this fragile peace possibly last? The board is now perfectly set for the greatest conflict the ancient world has ever seen. Think about that. Until next time.